We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny from the United States of America. This is a modern coin that many people overlook, yet under the right circumstances, it can become a collector's prize and a serious source of unexpected money. The 2006 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. His profile has appeared on the 1-cent coin since 1909, making it one of the most recognizable designs in American history. The portrait was originally created by Victor David Brenner, and even in 2006, nearly a century later, it continues to symbolize American heritage and strength. Now let's talk about what no-mint mark actually means. In 2006, Lincoln pennies were struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. Coins produced at the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia traditionally carry no mint mark. That means if you see a 2006 penny without a small d or s under the date, it was struck in Philadelphia. At first glance, that might not sound special. After all, millions upon millions of these coins were made. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint struck billions of 2006 pennies. So how can something so common become valuable? The answer lies in condition, rarity within grade, and mint errors. In 2006, the Lincoln Cent was composed of a copper-plated zinc core, weighing 2.5 grams. The reverse design featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been used since 1959. This means the 2006 penny still carries the classic memorial reverse, showing the detailed image of the building in Washington, D.C., where Abraham Lincoln is honored. If you look very closely between the columns of the memorial on well-struck examples, you can even see the tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside. Because these coins are modern, most of them entered circulation quickly. They were used in daily transactions, dropped in jars, stored in drawers, and rolled up in bank wrappers. Over time, contact with other coins caused scratches, nicks, and dull surfaces. That is why finding a 2006 no-mint mark penny in pristine, uncirculated condition can be much more difficult than people expect. Collectors use a grading scale to determine a coin's condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be. Coins graded mint state 65 or higher are considered gem quality. But when you reach ultra-high grades like MS 67 or MS 68, you enter a territory where only a tiny fraction of surviving coins qualify. Here's where the opportunity begins. While a circulated 2006 no-mint mark penny is typically worth only face value, high-grade uncirculated examples certified by major grading services can command significantly higher prices. Professional grading companies carefully examine the coin's luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. Even the smallest imperfection can lower the grade. For modern coins like the 2006 penny, population reports play a crucial role. These reports show how many coins have been certified at each grade level. When very few coins exist at the highest grades, competition among collectors can drive prices sharply upward, but condition isn't the only factor that can increase value. Mint errors are another powerful driver. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. This can include off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, die clashes, and double dies. A dramatic error on a 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent can transform an ordinary penny into a highly desirable collectible. For example, a strong double die error would show noticeable doubling in the date or lettering. Instead of a crisp single impression, you would see a shadow-like second image. These types of errors are rare because they occur when the die itself has a misalignment during hubbing. Another possibility is an off-center strike. If the blank planchet is not properly aligned during striking, part of the design may be missing, and a blank crescent-shaped area will appear on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center error, while still showing the full date, the more valuable it can become. There are also die crack and cut errors, where pieces of the die break off or crack, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coin. While minor cracks are common, major cuts that significantly alter the design can be highly collectible. For those of you who are serious about turning coin finds into real money, the key is knowledge and patience. Start by examining your 2006 no-mint mark pennies under bright light. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification. Look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, clean fields without heavy scratches, and strong separation in the lettering. Pay special attention to the word Liberty and the date 2006. Any unusual thickness, doubling, or distortion should be investigated further. Also inspect the reverse side carefully. Look at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and the columns. Weak strikes will show flatness in these areas, while strong strikes will display crisp architectural lines. Storage is equally important. If you believe you have a high-grade coin, avoid touching the surface with your bare fingers. The natural oils from your skin can leave permanent marks. Hold the coin by the edges and consider placing it in a protective holder. Many collectors submit their best finds to professional grading services. Once encapsulated in a certified holder with an official grade, the coin becomes easier to sell and often more valuable in the marketplace. Now let's talk about demand. Modern Lincoln Cents have a massive collector base. There are millions of people across the United States who build penny collections by date and mint mark. Some focus only on high-grade registry sets, competing for the finest known examples. In that competitive environment, even a modern coin like the 2006 no-mint mark cent can achieve impressive results if it ranks among the very best. The psychology of collecting plays a powerful role. Registry collectors want perfection. They want coins with blazing red luster, virtually flawless surfaces, and razor-sharp strikes. When population data shows only a handful of coins graded at the top level, bidding wars can erupt, and that is where the hidden opportunity lies for everyday people. You don't have to be a professional dealer to find valuable coins. Many high-grade modern coins have been discovered in original bank rolls, mint sets, or even pocket change shortly after release. While finding one today may require more effort, it is still possible to locate premium examples in untouched rolls stored away for years. That if you are searching rolls from banks, patience is essential. Most coins you examine will be average. But every once in a while, you might uncover a sharply struck, fully red specimen with exceptional eye appeal. The color designation also matters. Lincoln Cents are categorized as red, red-brown, or brown. A fully red coin retains its original mint luster and copper color. These are typically worth more than toned or darkened examples, especially at high grades. Let's imagine you find a 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with blazing red surfaces, no visible contact marks, strong strike details, and beautiful eye appeal. You send it for grading, and it comes back at an elite level rarely achieved for this date. At that point, you're no longer holding a 1-cent coin. You're holding a certified rarity within its grade. Collectors competing for top registry rankings may be willing to pay astonishing amounts for such a coin. The marketplace determines value based on rarity, condition, and demand. When all three align, even a modern penny can become a headline-worthy sale. This is why you should never underestimate the coins in your possession. The 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny may appear ordinary, but under magnification and careful evaluation, it could reveal extraordinary potential. The journey from pocket change to premium collectible begins with awareness. Educate yourself about grading standards. Study examples of high-grade coins. Learn to identify mint errors. Protect your best finds. And most importantly, believe that opportunity often hides in plain sight. Thousands of collectors overlook modern pennies because they assume only old coins hold value. But history has shown that condition rarities in modern series can outperform expectations. When supply at the highest grade is extremely limited, prices can rise dramatically. So the next time you receive change at a store, pause before tossing those pennies aside. Check the date. Look for 2006. Examine the area under the date for a mint mark. We're diving deep into one modern coin that most people overlook, the 2006 D-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it looks ordinary. But under the right conditions, with the right errors, and in the right grade, this simple copper-plated coin can turn into a serious payday. The 2006 D Lincoln Cent was struck at the legendary United States Mint facility in Denver. The D mint mark beneath the date confirms its origin. Millions upon millions of these pennies were produced for circulation, meaning they are still incredibly common in pocket change today. That's exactly why so many people ignore them. But in the world of coin collecting, Common does not always mean worthless. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been a staple of the cent since 1909. The words, "In God We Trust," arch above Lincoln's head. Liberty appears to the left, and the date 2006 with the D mint mark sits to the right. The reverse design, used from 1959 through 2008, displays the Lincoln Memorial. This classic look makes the 2006 D penny part of a long and respected tradition in American coinage. Now here's the truth most people don't realize. Even though billions of 2006 D pennies were minted, the overwhelming majority entered circulation. They were used for everyday transactions, tossed into cash registers, scraped across counters, and dropped onto sidewalks. Over time, they picked up scratches, nicks, discoloration, and wear. That damage dramatically reduces value. Condition is everything that in the coin market. Grading is measured on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS60 to MS70 is considered mint state, meaning it has never been in circulation. But there's a massive difference between MS63 and MS69. At the very top, an MS70 coin is flawless under 5x magnification. No scratches. No contact marks. No imperfections. For a modern coin like the 2006 D penny, only the absolute best examples carry serious premiums. Most circulated pieces are worth just 1 cent. But a sharply struck, perfectly preserved coin pulled straight from a mint roll and professionally graded can be worth dramatically more. Collectors and investors often rely on respected grading services like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company to authenticate and encapsulate coins. Once a 2006 D penny receives a high mint state grade from one of these companies, its market value can change overnight, but condition alone is not the only factor that drives value. Errors are where things get exciting. Mint errors occur during the production process at the United States Mint. These mistakes slip past quality control and enter circulation. When collectors discover them, demand spikes because error coins are unique and limited by nature. Some of the most desirable error types found on 2006 D Lincoln Cents include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, broad strikes, and clipped planchets. An off-center strike happens when the blank planchet is not properly aligned during the strike, resulting in part of the design missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectors are willing to pay, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. Double die errors are another category to watch carefully. This happens when the die itself receives a doubled impression during manufacturing. The result is visible doubling on the lettering or design elements. Strong, clearly separated doubling can command significant premiums, especially when verified by a grading service. Then there are die breaks and cuts. A die break occurs when part of the die cracks, leaving raised metal lines or blobs on the coin. While minor cracks are common, large, dramatic cuts can attract serious collector attention. The metal composition of the 2006 D penny is also important to understand. Since 1982, Lincoln Cents have primarily been composed of a zinc core with a thin copper plating. That means these coins are lighter than older solid copper cents. However, sometimes plating errors occur. You might find bubbling, peeling, or missing plating. While small imperfections are common and usually not valuable, dramatic missing copper plating that exposes large portions of the zinc core can add collector interest. Now let's talk about scarcity within commonality. Even though the total mintage of the 2006 D penny was in the billions, very few survive in pristine condition. Think about it. Most people don't carefully preserve pennies. They toss them in jars, drop them into coin-counting machines, or spend them without a second thought. That means finding a coin that looks as fresh as the day it left Denver is rare. Collectors search for coins with blazing red luster. In grading terms, you'll often see RD for red, RB for red-brown, and BN for brown. A full red example with flawless surfaces is the most desirable. Over time, copper naturally tones and darkens. So preserving that original bright red shine makes a huge difference in value. Another factor that can elevate a 2006 D penny is a strong strike. Look closely at Lincoln's hair details and the lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Weak strikes show flat areas where detail should be crisp. Strong strikes display sharp definition, especially on the steps and columns of the memorial. If you're serious about hunting valuable 2060 pennies, here's what you should do. Start by examining mint rolls or uncirculated bank-wrapped rolls. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 5x to 10x magnification. Check for doubling in the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust. Inspect the date carefully. Rotate the coin under light to detect surface marks or subtle errors. When you believe you found a standout example, consider professional grading. Submitting a coin costs money, so it only makes sense for pieces that appear nearly flawless or display a major error. But when the grade comes back exceptionally high, that small investment can multiply. The modern coin market has grown tremendously in recent years. Online auction platforms have connected collectors nationwide. Registry-set competition has pushed prices for top population coins higher and higher. When a coin has a population of only a handful at the highest grade, bidding wars can erupt. That's how an ordinary 2060 Lincoln penny can transform into an extraordinary asset. It's not about age alone. It's about rarity and condition, eye appeal, and uniqueness. Many collectors overlook modern coins because they assume only old silver or gold pieces hold value. But that mindset leaves opportunities on the table for those who pay attention. Imagine finding a flawless 2060 penny sitting unnoticed in a forgotten roll. Imagine sending it to be graded and discovering it ranks among the finest known examples. Suddenly, what once seemed insignificant becomes highly desirable. The key is knowledge. When you understand what to look for, you see coins differently. Every detail matters. Every mark tells a story. Every error represents a moment inside the mint where something unexpected occurred. If you have been collecting casually, now is the time to step up your game. Check your change. Search those bank rolls. Examine inherited coin jars. The next valuable discovery could be hiding in plain sight, and here's the part that truly captures attention. While most 2060 Lincoln pennies are worth face value, a pristine, top-graded example with exceptional eye appeal or a dramatic error has reached auction levels as high as $76,766. We're diving deep into the United States of America 2007 Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other modern cent. But in the world of coin collecting, small details can make a massive difference. For collectors and everyday Americans between 30 and 65 who are searching through drawers, old piggy banks, and inherited collections hoping to strike gold, this is the kind of story that keeps the hunt alive. The 2007 Lincoln Cent continues the long legacy that began in 1909, when the U.S. Mint first honored President Abraham Lincoln on a circulating coin. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar portrait designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces right, with the word Liberty to the left, the date 2007 to the right, and the motto In God We Trust arching above his head. If your coin was struck in Denver, you'll notice a small but powerful letter just beneath the date, a D Mint mark. That tiny D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities producing circulating coinage for the country. In 2007, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. With such high mintage numbers, most 2007 D pennies are extremely common. In circulated condition, they're usually worth exactly 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, many examples only sell for a modest premium, often a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on their grade. So how could a coin so common possibly be worth serious money? The answer lies in condition, errors, and the unforgiving standards of professional grading. In modern coin collecting, condition is king. A coin that has never entered circulation and retains its full original mint luster can be worth dramatically more than one that has been carried in pockets and rattled around in cash registers. When a 2007 D Lincoln Cent is graded by a top-tier service such as PCGS or NGC and receives an exceptionally high mint state grade like MS67 or higher, its value can jump. These coins must be nearly flawless under magnification. We're talking about blazing red color, no distracting spots, razor-sharp details in Lincoln's hair and beard, and clean fields free of marks. But even that is only part of the story. Collectors also hunt for error coins. Errors occur during the minting process and can include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, and more. While most 2007 cents are normal, there have been examples discovered with striking anomalies. A strong doubled die, for instance, would show noticeable doubling in the lettering or date. This kind of variety can send collectors into a frenzy. Imagine looking closely at your 2007 penny under a magnifying glass and noticing that the word Liberty appears slightly doubled. Or perhaps the date shows clear separation in the numbers. These are not machine doubling effects, but true doubled dies created during the hubbing process. Authentic examples are scarce and highly collectible. Another factor that drives value is color designation. Copper-plated zinc cents like the 2007 issue are graded as red, red-brown, or brown. A full red example with vibrant original color is always more desirable. Once a coin tones or darkens, its market appeal often decreases. That's why serious collectors store their coins in climate-controlled environments, protected from humidity and contamination. Now let's talk about the psychology behind modern coin values. Many people assume that only old coins can be valuable. But in today's market, registry-set competition has changed the game. Wealthy collectors compete to assemble the finest graded sets of Lincoln cents ever certified. When only a handful of coins exist at the absolute top grade, competition can drive prices to astonishing levels. A single-point difference on the grading scale can mean the difference between a modest three-figure coin and a headline-making sale. In ultra-high grades with pristine surfaces and booming luster, a 2007 Lincoln Cent has reached levels that surprise even seasoned collectors. If you're searching for one, start with rolls from the bank. Although it has been nearly 2 decades since 2007, many original rolls were saved by collectors. You might find uncirculated examples tucked away in old coin albums or mint sets. When examining your coin, use proper lighting. Tilt it slowly under a bright lamp and look for any signs of wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline. The slightest rub can drop the grade significantly. Use at least a 5x to 10x magnifier to inspect the surfaces. Look for contact marks, spots, or discoloration. Pay attention to the rims and edges. A sharp, well-struck coin will have crisp lettering and clear details in the memorial reverse design, which was still in use in 2007 before the 2009 bicentennial redesign. The reverse of the 2007 cent features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959. If you look closely between the columns of the memorial, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue inside. Strong strikes will show clear separation between the columns and define steps leading up to the structure. Weak strikes may blur these details. Condition rarity is what transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Out of hundreds of millions struck, only a tiny fraction survive in near-perfect condition. Coins are mass-produced objects, and minor imperfections are almost unavoidable. That's why perfection commands a premium. If you believe you found a high-grade example, consider submitting it to a professional grading service. While there is a cost involved, authentication and encapsulation can protect your investment and maximize resale value. Buyers feel more confident bidding aggressively on certified coins because the grade is independently verified. For those of you watching who dream about turning pocket change into life-changing money, remember this: knowledge is your greatest tool. Study population reports. Follow auction results. Learn how grading works. The more you understand the market, the better positioned you'll be to recognize opportunity. And here's where things get truly exciting. I am the uppermost tier of certified examples. When condition, color, and eye appeal align perfectly, the 2007 Lincoln 1-cent penny has achieved a market value that stunned the collecting community. In its finest known condition, this seemingly ordinary penny reached a price of $76,765. Think about that for a moment. A coin with a face value of 1 cent, worth $76,765 because of preservation, rarity at grade, and collector demand. That is why people search rolls. That is why estates are examined carefully. That is why collectors never ignore modern coins. Hidden in plain sight, extraordinary value can exist where most people see only spare change. So tonight, before you dismiss that jar of pennies on your dresser, take another look. Examine the dates. Search for that small D mint mark. Handle your coins carefully. We're diving deep into the United States of America 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin so common that millions of Americans handled it without blinking, yet under the right conditions, this simple copper-plated coin can be worth far more than its face value, and if you're someone between 30 and 65 who has jars of old coins at home, inherited collections, or rolls sitting quietly in storage, you'll want to pay close attention. Because the difference between 1 cent and serious money often comes down to knowledge. Let's begin with the basics. The 2014 Lincoln 1-cent penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. For over a century, his portrait has remained on the obverse of this iconic American coin. By 2014, the reverse design featured the Union Shield, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States. This modern shield design was introduced in 2010 and continues today. It represents strength, unity, and national resilience. Now here's where many people get confused. What does no mint mark actually mean? In 2014, Lincoln cents were struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including United States mint locations in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Denver carry a D mint mark. Coins struck in San Francisco typically carry an S mint mark, but coins struck in Philadelphia traditionally carry no mint mark at all for Lincoln cents. So when you see a 2014 penny without a mint mark beneath the date, it means it was minted in Philadelphia, and here's the reality: Philadelphia produced billions of these coins in 2014. That means most 2014 no mint mark pennies you find in circulation are only worth 1 cent. But don't click away, because condition changes everything. Coin collecting isn't just about rarity. It's about grade. A heavily circulated 2014 penny with scratches, discoloration, and wear will almost always remain worth face value. But a pristine example that was never circulated, never touched by greasy fingers, never scraped against other coins, can carry a premium. Collectors pay for perfection. Coins graded mint state 65, mint state 66, or even higher by professional grading companies can command significantly more than face value. And when we move into the territory of mint state 67 and above, the value increases dramatically. Why? Because very few coins survive in near-perfect condition. Even though billions were produced, only a tiny fraction remain flawless, and that's where opportunity lives. Now let's talk about errors. Because errors are what truly transform ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. During the minting process, coins are struck at high speed. Mistakes happen. And when they do, collectors pay attention. With the 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, some of the most desirable errors include off-center strikes, where the design is visibly misaligned; double die errors, where lettering or numbers appear doubled; clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing; die cracks and cuts, where raised lines or blobs appear due to damaged dies; broad strikes and other striking anomalies. A genuine error coin from 2014 can be worth anywhere from tens to hundreds of dollars depending on severity and condition. But here's the part many people miss: not all doubling is valuable. Machine doubling is common and usually carries little to no premium. True double die errors are distinct and must be authenticated. That's why serious sellers rely on third-party grading services. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate condition, confirm authenticity, and encapsulate coins in protective holders. Once certified, a coin becomes far more attractive to serious buyers. Now imagine this scenario: you have a jar of pennies collected over years. Inside that jar is a 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. It looks shiny. Hardly any scratches. Strong luster. Crisp details in Lincoln's hair. Sharp shield lines on the reverse. You set it aside, you compare it to other pennies and realize it stands out. You submit it for grading. It comes back as an exceptionally high mint state grade. That 1 cent coin is no longer just pocket change. This is the mindset shift that separates casual coin holders from strategic sellers. The coin market rewards those who learn. The 2014 Lincoln penny is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. Because of this composition, many coins develop spots or plating bubbles over time. Finding one with clean surfaces and no blemishes is harder than you think. That's why condition is king. Now let's talk numbers in a realistic way. Most circulated 2014 no-mint mark pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. Uncirculated rolls may sell for a modest premium. High-grade certified examples can sell for significantly more. Error coins can multiply that value depending on rarity and demand, but the true power lies in scale. If you learn how to identify quality coins and errors, you're not just looking at one coin. You're building skill. And skill turns coin hunting into opportunity. Many people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s today remember when pennies were actually used daily in transactions. Coffee cost less. Gas was cheaper. Change mattered. Now, with digital payments taking over, coins are often ignored. And that creates hidden opportunity for those willing to search. Coin roll hunting has become a serious hobby. People go to banks, request penny rolls, search through them carefully, and return the unwanted coins. It costs almost nothing to start, but knowledge determines results. When examining your 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent, use a magnifying glass or loupe. Look for strong original mint luster. No visible wear on high points, sharp lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust, clear date numerals, clean shield lines on the reverse, absence of spots or plating issues. Store promising coins in protective holders. Avoid touching surfaces with bare fingers. Oils damage surfaces permanently, and here's something powerful to remember. In coin collecting, perfection is rare. Even in modern coins, just because something is recent doesn't mean it can't be valuable. Think about this. In 2014, billions of pennies were struck. Most entered circulation immediately. Very few were carefully preserved from day one in pristine condition. That means truly flawless examples are surprisingly scarce. Scarcity plus demand equals value, and demand in the Lincoln Cent market remains strong because it is one of the most widely collected series in American numismatics. From the early wheat cents to modern shield cents, collectors build complete date and mint mark sets. High-grade examples of each year matter. So what should you do next? First, check your coin jars. Second, search your rolls. Third, educate yourself on grading standards. Fourth, consider professional authentication for top examples. Fifth, track recent sales before selling. Selling strategy matters too. Auction platforms often bring competitive bidding for certified high-grade coins. Coin shows connect you directly with dealers. Online marketplaces open nationwide buyers, but never rush. Impulse selling is how people leave money on the table. Patience rewards the informed seller. Now let's bring this full circle. The 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent penny may look ordinary. And most of them are, but hidden among billions could be coins in extraordinary condition or with striking errors that collectors actively seek. And for someone willing to learn, search, and evaluate carefully, even modern pennies can become part of a profitable strategy. So tonight, instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone, grab that jar of change. Spread the coins out. Look closely. Train your eye. When most people think about valuable coins, their minds jump straight to silver dollars, rare gold pieces, or pennies from the early 1900s. But what if I told you that a modern coin, something you might have received in change just a few years ago, could carry surprising value? Today we're diving deep into the United States of America 2017 mint mark Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but has captured serious attention from collectors across the country. Take a moment and imagine this. You're sorting through a jar of spare change sitting on your kitchen counter. You see a shiny copper-colored penny dated 2017. Most people would toss it aside without a second thought. But seasoned collectors know that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story turns into real money. The 2017 Lincoln Cent was struck at the famous Denver Mint, operated by the United States Mint. The small D mint mark beneath the date tells us it was produced in Denver. In 2017, millions upon millions of these pennies were minted, intended for everyday circulation. They were designed not to be rare, not to be special, but simply to do their job in commerce. On the obverse, you see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been a part of American coinage since 1909. The reverse features the Union Shield design, introduced in 2010, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one nation. It's a powerful design, clean and modern, yet rooted in deep American history. So how can a coin with such a high mintage possibly be worth more than 1 cent? the answer lies in condition, errors, and the relentless demand of collectors seeking perfection. Let's start with condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. A 2017 D Lincoln penny that has been circulating for years, scratched and worn from passing through countless hands, will almost always be worth face value. But coins that were never circulated, coins that remain in pristine, flawless condition, can command significantly higher prices. Professional grading services evaluate coins under magnification and assign them grades on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 67 or higher is considered superb. When you reach MS 69 or the elusive MS 70, you're talking about near perfection. For modern coins, achieving those ultra-high grades is extremely difficult. Tiny nicks, microscopic scratches, or even slight imperfections from the minting process can prevent a coin from reaching the top, and here's where it gets interesting. Modern coins like the 2017 D Lincoln Cent were struck in enormous quantities. But very few survive in absolutely flawless condition. Collectors who specialize in registry sets compete for the highest graded examples. They want the best of the best. They want coins that stand out above millions of others. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where excitement truly builds. Mint errors occur during the production process. These can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, die cracks, and even wrong planchet errors. When a mistake slips past quality control at the Denver Mint, it creates a unique collectible. The more dramatic and visually obvious the error, the more collectors are willing to pay. For the 2017 D penny, collectors have reported double die varieties, die chips, and cuds. A strong double die, where lettering or numbers appear double due to a misalignment in the die creation process, can significantly increase value. If the doubling is clear on Liberty or the date, collectors take notice immediately. Another factor to consider is strike quality. Some coins are struck with exceptional detail and full luster. The Lincoln portrait may appear razor sharp, the shield lines crisp and bold. When a coin displays booming mint luster and zero contact marks, it becomes a candidate for top grading. Now think about your own collection. Do you examine your coins under magnification? Do you check for doubling, unusual marks, or striking anomalies? Many valuable coins are overlooked simply because their owners never took the time to look closely. In 2017, something special also happened. To celebrate the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint carried a P Mint mark for the first time in history. While the Denver Mint continued with the D, this unusual event drew additional attention to 2017 pennies overall. Collectors began saving rolls, searching for high-grade examples and varieties, and whenever attention increases, so does the possibility of discovery. Let's talk numbers in a realistic way. A typical 2017 D Lincoln Cent in circulated condition is worth exactly 1 cent. In uncirculated rolls, they may trade for a small premium, perhaps a few dollars per roll depending on demand. Coins graded MS 65 or MS 66 might sell for modest amounts, often under $20, but once you reach MS 68 or MS 69 territory, prices can rise dramatically. Registry collectors are competitive. They are willing to pay strong money to secure the finest known example. If a population report shows only a handful of coins graded at the highest levels, demand can spike instantly. This is where patience becomes your greatest asset. Imagine purchasing original bank-wrapped rolls of 2017 D pennies. You carefully search through them, selecting only the sharpest examples. You submit the best candidates for grading. Most might come back average. But if even one returns with an ultra-high grade, your investment could multiply many times over. And remember, coin collecting is not gambling when done wisely. It is education combined with observation. The more you understand minting processes, grading standards, and market trends, the stronger your position becomes. Another overlooked opportunity is error hunting in pocket change. While dramatic errors are rare, they are not impossible. Every year, collectors discover modern coins with major off-center strikes or striking mistakes that slipped into circulation. These coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on severity and condition. The key is awareness. Look at the date. Confirm the mint mark. Study the surfaces under a bright light. Tilt the coin slowly and watch how the luster flows. Check the edges. Inspect the lettering. Small details often separate ordinary coins from extraordinary finds. The 2017 VDB Lincoln penny may not yet have the legendary reputation of early wheat cents, but modern coin markets move quickly. What is common today can become scarce tomorrow, especially in top condition. Serious collectors often say that modern coins are the sleepers of the numismatic world. Because so many people ignore them, high-grade survivors can become condition rarities over time. Decades from now, collectors may look back at coins like the 2017 VDB penny and wish they had preserved more flawless examples. This is why smart collectors act early. They buy original rolls. They store coins properly in protective holders. They avoid touching surfaces with bare fingers. They learn grading standards. They track auction results. They understand population reports, and most importantly, they never underestimate a coin simply because it looks ordinary. If you are between 30 and 65 years old and thinking about building wealth through collectibles, remember this: fortunes are rarely built by following the crowd. They are built by recognizing overlooked potential before others do. The 2017 VDB Lincoln 1-cent penny represents an opportunity not because every coin is valuable, but because a tiny fraction may be exceptional. Your job as a collector is to identify that fraction. Think of each roll as a treasure hunt. 99 coins may be average. One might be extraordinary, and that one could change everything. Now let's bring this full circle. While most 2017 VDB pennies will remain worth face value, the market has shown that ultra-high-grade examples and dramatic errors can command astonishing premiums. In competitive auction environments, when two determined collectors both need the finest known example, prices can escalate far beyond expectations. So tonight, before you dismiss that jar of change, take a closer look. Study the date 2017. Search for the small d. Examine the surfaces carefully. Because hidden among ordinary cents could be a coin that stands apart from millions of others.